Honestly, Dirk, your videos that are an hour could literally be a course.
I know people tell me that all the time. They're like, I can't believe this is free. And I'm like, staring out my window. Like I could have $1,000 extra in my pocket right now.
I know they're very thorough.
I will definitely like do a course eventually, for the purpose of getting money from it, because that hasn't been my purpose. And that's the only reason I would do a course is if I thought that, okay, like let's kind of turn the tables here, balance things out. Like I'm going to put even more effort into this for you. And in return, I would get some financial gain from that. But yeah, so far it's really, the YouTube channel definitely drives freelance. Like I said, with the Patreon thing, like it's like YouTube, Patreon, all that is like, 1% of my income. But, if out of those 43.7 thousand subscribers, one person sees that works for a company that needs, some top level like animation work, that's going to cover my rent for 6 months. So I don't need the course. It's just nice to build the audience and like that feeds what actually makes the money.
That's a great point. I actually have been getting hit up for freelance, and it's awesome. It's great. I'm like, that wasn't really the avenue that I was thinking when I started this, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, that's actually a really great opportunity. And these really cool projects come out of the woodwork. You're like, yeah, I'll do that. That's awesome.
The problem with it though is like with my phone animation particular, people, I get a lot of emails are like, hey, like I have a product and like I saw that you did that phone tutorial in like an hour and a half, so it probably shouldn't take you that long. Like, how much is that gonna cost? I'm like, it'll probably cost you about $20,000 because that phone animation I worked on for a long time to get it, and that was also just an overview. Like it's not
exactly like I'm not actually doing that in like an hour.
It's like, okay, show me the hour-long tutorial of your product of exactly what you want. I'll follow it and do it. Like it doesn't exist, and that's why it's not.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I find most people know that, but there's some people who try to game it. There definitely are. Like in the freelance world, there's always the people that are like, "Hey, how much can you do for the least amount of money?" And you're like, "Nah, I don't want to work with you. Sorry, go find somebody else. Go find some,
Yeah, I get
go to Fiverr.
People don't understand the work it actually takes to create what they want.
Yeah,
they just think it's a quick process, or like they'll want. I've had a few people reach out for lessons, but don't want to pay me that much. So I'd rather invest that time into making a video or working on a course. It's like I'm not gonna do a private lesson for you one-on-one for $10 an hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw you guys talking about that in the channel. That's something that I have been approached about before. I haven't done it yet, but I would do private training, but it would be very expensive. It's
Gary said,
just tell me what you want to learn, and maybe I'll make a tutorial on it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that lessons are fun. I've only done it twice with the same dude. I'm not going to disclose how much was. I basically said, pay what you want. If you want to pay nothing, go ahead. I don't care, because I'm not planning to do this more than this one or two times. But who here has done lessons? It's like the most bizarre thing coming from tutorials. It's so different.
Yeah, that's really weird.
At least 40 times I've given lessons.
I've taught in classroom.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, classroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not live. I've done recorded videos. So I'm doing a live one soon. I'm assuming he goes through with it. But
I've done a couple like little workshops, just like, hey, here's kind of what Blender is and how it works, but never like a one-on-one. But I did have a company that I did some work for that was considering, like having me come in and, for 3 days, like teach, their department how to use Blender to kind of like get them up to speed. And that would be something that I would enjoy doing.
That's really
Daniel
cool.
shows them like all the hotkeys. This is where you begin.
1 out of 2,000.
It's like,
were you 40
1-on-1? It's like, let me introduce you to Daniel over here who can answer that question.
I've done a lot of lessons one-on-one. I used to Fiverr. I'm quite experienced with that low ball thing y'all are talking about.
Oh, Fiverr?
Crazy.
Yeah.
We'll meet best and worst people on Fiverr. There's no in between. There's like people that are like trying to actively help you like rise out of Fiverr, and then there's the people that are trying to take advantage of you. There's not really an in between.
Off of Fiverr to do some modeling for me.
It's crazy. It's a race to the bottom.
Yeah,
you're right.
Not the place you want to be.
Doesn't seem
Fiverr like you said, man. You hit the nail on the head. Like and you delivered it in such dry humor. I'm laughing my head off here. It's so true. It's like there's no in between. There's like the scumbags and the great people, and there's like nothing in between on that platform at all.
Yeah,
It's the same with selling models.
I've had people ask
Yeah.
me to do mentoring before, but I always figure, well, if I'm going to teach you something unique, then if it comes out well, that's something I'd like to give to as many people as possible. So why don't I just do it in a video instead? And then I thought, well, I'd like to do, workshops with multiple people, but then I think, well, if I want to get that out to as many people as possible, that's just a live stream, like. So, I mean, the only other element is, do you want people to pay for it? I'm not so interested, but I don't really accept freelance work anymore, just as a personal choice. I don't really like doing it. But depending on who's asking me, I'll give a different response. Because sometimes I'm really nice and I'll say, look, I love your project. I'm not accepting any at the moment, but let's, stay in contact and you can use me for consultation and stuff. But if I'm being jokey, I'll say, look, I'm not interested in doing it. Like if they've been rude, I'll be like, I'm not interested in doing freelance at the moment. My hourly rate is my subscriber count divided by 1,000. You calculate it. And I'll leave it at that and see what they come back with.
Oh, you need to up that.
Is that actually what you charge though, divided by 1,000?
I realistically, I'm never going to accept it, but I just say that just to get them thinking, because as you say about lowballing and stuff, people don't expect how long things take, and how much things might cost. But there was one person that I was very open with. I said the rate will change depending on the type of work. So I gave him a breakdown. I said, look, you've got admin stuff here, and then you've got general 3D artworks, and then you've got designing tools and systems that don't exist, like, types of generators, add-ons, that sort of stuff. That's going to cost you the most amount of money. And also for all of these things, if I've got other stuff going on, I may throw on like a little extra premium for the time taken away from other projects. So, I say that for them. And but generally I haven't done much freelance.
I mean, that would be my advice to anybody, is to, as soon as possible, get as far away from anything related to time as possible, any hourly billing. It should all be just, what's it worth to them, and it should be priced accordingly. Like, you should be completely covered and happy to do the work, and they should get the product that they want and they're super happy to have paid the price for. And like, that's where, because if you get into like how long things take and whatnot, I mean, I've had a project go 2 months longer than it was supposed to, but I was just getting paid, so fine that it literally did not matter. I didn't care. And by the end of it, I still got paid fairly and they got what they wanted and everybody was happy. But now I am much more strict with timelines than I used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trick too to gain the confidence in your stuff that you can say this is my rate, this is what I need, and you have it all mapped out in your head what you need to live on, right? I mean, you have your whole your overhead, you have everything broken down, so your numbers, and you just have to be confident enough to say this is what it is, and be okay with them saying, well, I'll go somewhere else. Be like, okay, like I wish you luck,
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly it. You can't be in a space where what you're doing is commoditized, because if people are approaching me for modeling stuff, it's like, for me to do that, it's going to be $2,000, but 100% you can find somebody to do the same thing for $50. So go there. And it's because, in the case of something like modeling, it's a commoditized service. Like, a lot of people can do that, but when it gets to the more high level creative work, or like Curtis, you're talking about designing systems, like, if the answer to go to someone else is, well, we can't find anyone else who can do it, that's why it's so expensive.
Yeah,
exactly.
And on that matter, there's also some kind of difficult conversations where like I'll have other people come to me with an add-on idea for like a big add-on or something, and they'll say, we can split it, and it's like this big project that would obviously make a lot of money, and but I say to them, look, for a lot of these cases, you're not the first person to come up with the idea. I could do this myself and then make all that money. So you need to tell me why, I should do this with you and make a split. Because a lot of the time it's someone that has nothing to contribute to it. So what's happening there is, I can tell you're just trying to make money off of me. So no, that's not going to fly, So there's a fair few situations like that.
Quick
I
topic
like
change. Has Ducky been doing like a stare for like 20 minutes for you guys too? Like he just looks super contemplative.
I just thought he was.
I wonder
He
what
is-
he's gonna
Now that you
say.
mention this,
Yeah.
it's coming up with something good.
I think the screen's frozen. It is for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, he's
I
got to
thought
keep
he
up
was
the act.
listening very focused.
I was gonna say if he's just holding that, that's really impressive.
Oh wait,
Well, what do you mean he
Oh.
just dropped randomly? Come on.
he knew.
was
He
there.
knew.